Okay, before I start part 2 of my review for this Jetfire figure, I need to make a correction about the mistake I made about the gun. And I have to give a shout out thanks to Hubert Art for pointing out the mistake I made about this gun having issues with tabbing in. So here, now I'm going to make the correction and point things out. So first, you could see this is the gun that I had. Let's move him over to the side. And you see you basically have it transformed to the missile that goes underneath the plane like this. And to transform it, you pull out the back part to extend it. And I thought that was the gun. But there's actually another step to transforming the missile into the gun, which I should have known just from remembering the shape of the gun. But basically, this handle piece, you want to pull it down like so, and then you want to pull it, the front part down and back. So then you need to now pull it back and down. And then now we completed the transformation for the gun. And this is now what the gun should look like. And now you could see there's more room for the tab here to go in the hand. So I was wrong saying that there's no reason for this tab, because the tab is supposed to be here. But I was correct in that you look at it very carefully. The tab is actually angled. You can see the slot here is straight, but the tab is actually angled. And that makes sense because it's actually angled down so that this back tail of the missile can, sit on top. And now to put it in, just so you could see that this is actually toleranced really well. So first things first, you need to get this in and get that slot lined up over the tab, and then you need to tab it in by giving it a good squeeze, and then you need to now wrap the fingers around, and the index finger, now it makes sense why the index finger is kind of pointed out like this, because that's meant to actually go into the trigger part of the gun. So now actually this gun is actually a lot better than I was making it out to see. So I needed to make that correction. So now you could see he holds the gun very well, and it is toleranced pretty well. And what's cool is the finger actually goes into the trigger area. So that's really cool. And here I didn't really mess around with the pose, but I just want to make this clear that you can fiddle with the nice ratcheted joints for the articulation to get them to stand better. So I don't want to go through all of it, but here I have this leg back, here this leg's forward, and then this is bent, and then you just have to adjust the feet accordingly. And now you could see he has a much firmer stance, and I actually think he has a nice dynamic pose this way. So anyways, just want to give a shout out thanks again to Hubert Arts for pointing that out, and I take full responsibility and accountability for the mistake I made, and I want to make that correction. So now on to part 2 of my video review for the FUGU FG-01, their version of the Autobot Air Guardian Jetfire. Okay, this is part 2 of my video review for Jetfire. And here you could see he is in his robot mode with his battle armor on the display stand that only comes with the Deluxe version. And here I put him in a dynamic pose as best as I can, and just letting you know that's a little difficult just because of the way the adapter fits in. You kind of have to have his wings spread open, and his wings also need to be spread open to be able to manipulate these legs in such a way where they're not hitting the wings. So just pointing that out because, you know, those are some little nitpicky issues that you need to be aware of. So now to take them off, it is a little challenging because the connecting tab is really tight. And throughout this figure, there's just so many tolerance issues where things just easily come untabbed or things are too tight. And here, this is good that this is happening. So you could see this is not as easy as just lift this up and untab it. Because you could see when you apply force to try to take it off, it gets stuck. And what ends up happening is the clips here end up untaching from the armature here connecting the two legs. So I'm just going to be very straightforward and honest in my review and just point out all the things that you need to know. I'm not going to be saying like, oh, just lift this up and untab this to make it seem like this is a really great figure. This is a really nice figure. It has a lot of great articulation, but you know, there are a lot of annoying issues with this, like some of them I already pointed out, the tolerance issues, and you are going to run into a lot of difficulty trying to manipulate the figure, just like I'm doing now, just to get him to stand. So here I'm doing all of this just to demonstrate to you the difficulty and challenge that you get with this figure. And I'm actually surprised that I think I did a pretty good job trying to get him to stand. And I already pointed out in my first review that his hips here, you want to have them rotated close to his wing as you can, and you want to make sure that this joint here doesn't lift up. So you want to try to keep this as straight as possible. See, and as you do that, this leans forward, and like I said, you want to keep this back so some of the weight's on the front. And then here I'll just point out the feet again. If you open the feet up all the way, you could see that the heel is not making contact with the ground. So you need to do one click. So now the heels are making contact with the ground. So there's just a lot of things you need to be aware of and know how to manipulate, just so you know you can do things like have them stand straight without toppling backwards. But yeah, here now we got him off the display stand in his robot mode, and you could see what he looks like in robot mode with his battle armor. He looks really nice, and I already said many times this is the closest thing to a missing link Jetfire that we're gonna get because of all the nice articulation and stuff, even though there are tolerance issues here and there. But anyways, that's just kind of like a recap of many things I already pointed out in part 1. So now we need to transform Jetfire to his Gerwalk mode and take a look at that. Okay, to transform Jetfire from robot mode to his Gerwalk mode, first, to make things a little bit easier, let's just go ahead and remove his gun and put it to the side because it's just going to easily pop off. And also, maybe you might want to do the same with this, since these also easily just pop off. And now, if you are one of those that complains about the gaps and you attach the parts forming gap filler pieces in here, you want to remove that. So lift up his chest, and then you want to pull that to the side to untab it and remove those. And then now we can start transforming Jetfire by coming to the back and spreading his wings out, so we have access here to the back of the nose cone. And this is a panel piece that covers this die-cast armature connecting the two legs. You need to open that up, and it's kind of hard to get in there, so you have to kind of manipulate the leg so you can get your finger in there where you can get access to that parting line, and then you can flip that panel down. Once you flip that panel down, now you could see you now need to push the nose cone forward and then push the two hips back to untab it. And now we got the front part untabbed from the legs. And now his head, let's come up a little bit. You want to, it's on a double hinge, so you want to carefully lift his head up on that double hinge. And I said carefully because this is just simply tabbed in. They didn't screw it in because you might accidentally pop the head off. Once you lift that up, then you can rotate the head around on that ball joint. I mean the peg, and then take these antenna turrets and close to the circle and rotate these down carefully because you don't want to break these guns. And you're doing all of that so that you have room to tuck it through in here. And so now you could see it's just going to tuck in, but you see you need to make sure that these are going under. So you want to make sure you rotate these turrets down enough where as you lift this up, the head will go through that little opening down there, and you want to help guide it through. And once you get it through, now you want to make sure the head comes down all the way and then push the head forward. And that's just to give room to the back of his head here for, you know, these leg pieces to come in. Once we got all of that, then now you want to this chest piece here is holding the canopy cover for the window here, and you could see it's flush. So in order for it to go in, you need to bring it down, so down, and then now when you lift it up, you could see it tucks underneath, and then you push it up and in, and that's how you get that piece in. And then up here, you want, now you could see this is supposed to go in and connect, and it's not as simple as lift this up, push it in. I just like to point things out. You could see the two angle pieces here. They're going to go into the little slot, and you could see there are two slots there for the two tabs. And also up here, you could see there are two little tiny tabs that are going to tuck in underneath here. So I'm pointing all of that out just so you know what you're doing. And so once you get it in, then you're going to push it in all the way till it snaps and locks in place. Now we got that part done. And then his arms, you could see they fold in and out, so make sure they stay out, because now what we're going to do is now bring these legs forward, and as you do, you want bring this armature forward underneath his head. You want to also maneuver these legs out so that you have the clearance here. And you could see the armature bar here is going to click into those little clips right there. So you need to, like I said, you need to rotate these legs as you're pushing this up until you can get it in there, push it in. And once you got that in, now we need to tab the two front pieces here. And if you could see, there's that little tab there. You just need to make sure that this stays behind it. Don't get this accidentally up on top because it won't push in. So make sure it stays out. And then here, there's a tab up here that is just lines up with the slot up there. So basically, you get it set up this way, and then you need to squeeze it and it will tab in. You could see it's nice and flush. And somehow this one already did that also. And then once you got that, then on these nice ratchets up here and here, hyperextending his legs, you could bring these forward. And then now, like I said, the head, now that we got this armature piece in, now we can, oh, it's coming untabbed on one of them. Once we got that in, then now we can push the head down, back, down, back, and down. And now we got that done. And then, see, this is what I was telling you, tolerance issues as you're manipulating it. Things just, oh, that's the really annoying thing about this. Now we can just adjust everything. So now we could bring down his feet. And this is going to be a little bit of an issue because, yeah, the weight is on the back. So it might tend to fall backwards. And then now, and see the tolerance issue, this little tab just has trouble staying tabbed in because it's not toleranced very well. And now you can see we need to rotate his arms down and forward. And I said many times, this is a major concern because that ball joint on this post here, it's really tight. And like I was telling you, the way I manipulate it is I try to lock this piece and then get a good grip on the shoulder just to be able to rotate this to try and avoid causing stress and breakage there. And you see, like I said, this came untabbed. Tolerance issues here. This is really annoying. You just need to be aware of it and know how to get around it. So once we did all of that just to rotate these arms, the tolerance here is not done very well and it's prone to breakage. We need to come here and do the same on the other side. This side is not as tight, but as soon as I start rotating it, this thing starts moving forward. So you want to be careful not to break it. So just lock this just to be able to rotate this arm. And see, like I said, as soon as I do that, the tolerance is one of the main issues with this figure. So now I have to get that tabbed in and then get the upper part tabbed in again. And once we got all of that, we need to now straighten all this out. And here's the issue I want to point out, the clearance. You don't have much clearance with the shoulder here. The wing kind of gets in the way, so you have to have the shoulder maybe angled back a little bit so that the wings could come out, or you can have the wings back and then have the shoulder up. But I'm just telling you, there's a clearance issue there with the way they designed this. You see, this is what I was telling you, it's hit the shoulders hitting the wings, so you have to kind of pick and choose how you want to position the shoulders so that it's not hitting the wing. And once we got all of that, like I said, now you can start to pose the figure the way you want, and then you can attach these. And if you know what I was talking about, how this came untabbed again, and you know how the part came off here, that's going to happen multiple times up here with these, so that's why I took that off. And now after we got all of that, we can do our best to straighten them out. And then now we could put his gun in, because like I was telling you, you try transforming this with the gun in there, then the gun's also going to be falling off over and over again. And now we have Jetfire in his Gerwalk mode. And now let's zoom in and take a closer look at the figure and see how well they sculpted the figure and added in all this extra paint, which makes it look nice. The unfortunate thing, like I said many times, is the tolerance is not done very well, so it becomes very annoying trying to work around it. And as I say that, I'm trying to be very careful with moving this around, because I don't want things to start popping off or untabbing. And the other major issue, like I told you many times, is the tolerance up here, that ball joint on that post. It's prone to breakage. But it's a nice figure, and I don't need to go over all of the details because I already went over that in the part 1 of the video review for this figure. So now let's compare this with the original G1, and you could see that they did a nice job on this second version capturing the G1 toy aesthetics. Unlike their first version, you could see it's kind of like a fusion with the Macross or the original G1 toy, you know, with the Macross symbol here and the skull quadrant. Yeah, so this version actually captures the G1 toy aesthetic much more accurate than the first version. So I really like this figure a lot because of that. And this Gerwalk mode never appeared in the cartoon, so there's no animation model to compare this to. But yeah, here you could see what the figure looks like. And in terms of the articulation, I really don't want to go over that, just because, like I said, you know, once you start manipulating this figure, things just start untabbing all over the place, and then you have to put them back together, and then other parts start falling apart, and yeah, it's really annoying. But I already went over all of the articulation, so you can kind of see that you know how you can articulate it. And the hands, if you want, you could swap it out for the alternate hands they gave you, which I also covered in the part 1 of the video review for this, so I don't need to go over it again. But you just simply untab it and put in the replacement hands if that's what you wanted to do. So here is a look at Jetfire in his Gerwalk mode, and now let's transform him to his alt mode and take a look at that. Okay, to transform Jetfire from his Gerwalk mode into his alt mode, first remove all the accessories. So here, take out his gun and push in the back, so you transform it into the missile that will attach to the bottom after we get this transformed. And to make things a little bit easier, I am just going to go ahead and remove these to prevent these from falling off over and over again when I'm manipulating the figure. And now we need to fold in these hands. Let's come down a little bit by lifting up this panel, and you want to rotate the hand so the palm's facing up, and you want to make sure the thumb is in. And this part gets a little tricky, but this is basically a double hinge. The top hinge is where the hand is, and the bottom hinge, the tolerance is really tight, and that becomes an issue trying to get the hand to go in, because as you're applying force for the tight tolerance on the bottom hinge, sometimes that hand doesn't go in all the way. But that's basically how you get the hand in. Do the same on the other side. Rotate the hand so the palm's facing up. Make sure the thumb is down. Lift up this panel piece, and then on that bottom hinge, you want to apply a little force to lift it up and carefully guide this hand in to prevent this from moving when you're applying force on the bottom hinge to get that hand in. And once you get it in, then close that up. And then we need to straighten out these arms, which is a little scary because of the tight tolerance on that ball joint post here. So again, for me, what I do is I try to stabilize this joint so I can articulate that shoulder to straighten this all out. And actually here I want to lift the arm up, so here I'm kind of holding that piece to avoid it from twist bending because of the tight tolerance here. And here I'm just rotating it up all the way so you know it lines up, you know, that rectangle shape lines up with this rectangle shape. So get that up like so, and here tolerance things just start coming untabbed. Now come to the other side, do the same thing. I want to stabilize it by grabbing this piece here to straighten out his arm. And then now we're gonna rotate this arm up like so. So now it's facing up 90 degrees. Okay, after we got that, now we want to come to the bottom, and I don't know how well I'm going to be able to show you this, and just to explain it to you, I could just easily transform it and just, you know, that doesn't really help. But basically here you need to rotate these parts here that the arms are connected to, but there's a lock here and that's preventing it from rotating. So what you need to do is you need to bend this plastic piece up just to go over this little area to get it over here and then rotate it in. And I don't like that because you could see it's only connected by this little pin or really small screw. But now that you know what you're doing, you want to just carefully bend up that plastic piece, and then as you're doing it, you could see, you know, this piece is folding in. You want to rotate it in over, and you want to now get it into the center, which by getting it over here. So you need to just complete that rotation by bringing it up and over. And this part gets scary because you could see it's at an angle. You want to straighten it out, but you need to rotate it on that really tightly toleranced ball joint. So here I'm trying to do my best to stabilize it here just to get this to be rotated so that it's straight. And once you get the other side, it should be a little bit easier because you have extra support. So let's come back here, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have to bend that plastic piece up to go over that little lock so that we can rotate it. And as we're rotating that panel piece down and complete that rotation. And then now what you see, that tight tolerance sound doesn't sound good. Now that you got both arms close together, now you just kind of want to work these two so that they're parallel with each other, next, you know, lined up. And it's hard because you're fighting with that tight tolerance. It's not easy to rotate that shoulder joint because of the tight tolerance. But basically what you're trying to do is get the arms in like that. So point is, it's not as easy as just rotate this in, fold in the arm down, and you know, you could see why it's hard because of the tight tolerance, and then you're having to bend the plastic over the plastic. So I do my best to, you know, try to point them out, but as a consequence, it ends up making my videos really long, and I don't know, that's probably not helpful. So I don't know if I should keep doing transformations. But here, after we got that, then you could see the easy part is to just bring the legs back, but you need to know the correct orientation and the tabs. So here you could see there's a tab and a slot. It's supposed to go in, but yeah, see this leg, you could see here, I don't know how to explain it, but it's supposed to go one click down So you see a little bit of that black area, and it lines up. And then once you get that lined up, then you can push this up to tab that in, and it will click and lock in because of the type of tab that I don't like. It's a hook tab. It's not you know, tabbed in by friction from the paint. It's a hook tab, so it's a little scary. So here you want to click it up all the way, just the one click opening, and then the back leg, click that back so that that tab lines up with that slot, and then you want to push it up all the way till you hear the little click from the hook. And yeah, see, this is what I don't like, because I don't want to break that plastic piece. But now we got that, and then the feet, just close those up, and then you need to push it in on both sides. And like I said, the tolerance, the panel for that forearm comes down, this came up. And then now we can bring back these pieces. And his gun, this slot, this slot is actually here, meant to be for right here. This slot is not for the tab on his hand. So again, I don't know why they put the tab in the hand, because there's no use for it. So here, now we could tab that in, and the the wings here, see, just a little manipulation, and this thing's just, this is what I was telling you, it gets very annoying, see, because the tolerance is really the big issue with this figure. And now we got all of this straightened up, and what I was saying was the wing. This is not like the original Jetfire toy where they actually, you know, had like a little ratcheted teeth so it locks in place. And so here you just have to put this in the position you want and make it symmetrical on both sides, and be careful not to loosen it up. And here are some more tolerance issues. You could see the little tab that's supposed to go in the jetpack in the center. It just comes untabbed. So here you want, and then this part comes off. So yeah, see, this is what I was telling you. The tolerance issue is the main issue with this figure when you're manipulating and transforming it. So you just need to be aware of it and just find a way to manipulate it where you minimize how much that doesn't come off. But anyways, here, I don't know how that happened, but you could see it's not supposed to be open like that. So here, maybe it was good it happened. So here, yeah, let's see how way I could show you this. You want to bring out these two little panel pieces. I'm trying to find a way to show you. So they come down. Once you bring it down to cover that hole, you want to hold it and flip it upside down, and then again you want to bring it out to bring out those little tiny hole covers on both sides, which is a little hard to get to. So I got one, and then here bring out the other one, and once you bring them out, hold it and hold it upside down, and then close this panel piece just to cover that hole. And here this piece came off. I don't know where the other one went, but see, in the wings they don't lock in place, so they maybe this is, I hope you see that this is a good thing that this is happening. So this is confirming everything that I'm telling you, that this gets really annoying, that the fact that there's this there's very poor tolerance on this figure. Yeah, so now basically we have Jetfire in his alt mode. Gosh, one little touch and it comes off. So now let me just go ahead and find the other piece, and then we'll come right back. Well, no, well, first let me just get these wheels because I can't put them down like this. So to bring out the wheels, here you want to, there's two parts, the top and the bottom. The top goes out on both sides, and then the bottom one opens up inward, and it's a little hard to get to. So here you might need a spudger or something. And once you get that out, there's also another piece here you can push down to lift this up, which gives you a little room to get to that nub, to be able to flick out this tire piece, and then you bring it out all the way, and then you do the same on the other side, push in this piece to have some more room to get to that little nub you use to bring out the wheel, and then bring it up all the way. And then the front one, you could see there are two left and right sides here, so you want to open those up, and then you want to bring out the wheels on the front one. And then there's this small piece here, it's kind of like a support. You bring it up, and then we have the landing wheels. And now we just need to readjust all of this, make sure everything is in place, make sure things are tabbed in. And now let me get this piece, and we'll be right back. Okay, I found that missing piece that fell off from simply manipulating this figure during transformation. So simply tab that back in, and now we have Jetfire in his alt mode. And here you need to kind of be careful where you're grabbing it, so you know, to try to avoid having the gun fall off or other things falling off. But here you could see what he looks like in his alt mode. And I don't need to go over all of the details again, because this is pretty much the same as the Gerwalk mode, just folded up to be the plane. And it actually looks really nice, and it definitely captures the original G1 toy aesthetics very well. And see, like I said, so now let's compare this with the original G1 toy, and you could see they did a nice job capturing the G1 toy aesthetics with the Autobot symbol here and here, which are the stickers that they gave you. And when you compare it with their first version, which was kind of like a fusion between the Robotech or Macross and the original G1 toy, that one, you know, has the Macross logo here, and the Skull Squadron logo, UN Spacey down here. And, you know, some people may like that fusion look, but for me, I actually prefer this to be more accurate to the G1 toy. And this does a really nice job. And in terms of the animation model, which never appeared in the cartoon, but only the commercial, you can see typical G1, you know, the colors and things are off from the toy and the cartoon, or from the cartoon and the toy, such as the nose cone here is red, and the cartoon they made it white, and the tip of the nose cone on the animation is gray, and here it's red. So there's always things off. But most important for me is that here they did a really nice job capturing the G1 toy aesthetics. It's just really unfortunate they didn't do a better job you know, fixing the tolerance on here, so you don't run into all these annoying issues of things just easily, you know, coming untabbed or falling off and stuff like that. But here is a look at Jetfire in his alt mode. And if you got the deluxe version, which comes with the this nice display stand, you can attach this adapter piece here so that it can go in here, and I'm trying to remove the adapter for the robot mode. And here now I'm gonna show you, how to attach the adapter for the alt mode. And I'm just really concerned about how to carefully grab the figure so that I don't start untabbing things or things don't come falling off. But basically you need to come to the bottom, and here first let me just show you this. This is the tab that goes into the slot, and you could see the shape goes in and then down. So you need to make sure it's going in the right direction, so it goes this way. And for the alt mode, this is where you need this piece, because these are kind of like the support for the plane. And so you need to tab this in, and now you could see the direction that the plane's going to attach. It's going to attach this way. So now let's carefully grab this and come to the bottom. And so here's the tab, and does it go this way? This way? It goes this way, because this part's going to cover his head. And you could see there are 2 posts on each side that's supposed to go into the little corresponding slots there. And you need to open this up a little bit. So now this would be nice if this would just easily untab, but basically you need to untab this first. So I'm actually rotating these in to untab it, and once I get it untabbed, then I can see, I have to be careful where I'm grabbing so that things don't come flying off. But you need to untab it, and then you need to rotate these out to have room for these slots here. And then you just need to put this over the head and get the post lined up with the corresponding slots. And again, I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm actually trying to be very careful where I'm grabbing so that I don't start untabbing things. So I'm trying to do this as carefully as I can. Once we get that in, and then then you can tab in the top part on both sides. And now we have the adapter piece attached. And then here, let's see if we can come up a little bit. Now we just simply tab this in very carefully, and it will hold in place, but here the weight's a little off. So this is where maybe you need to rotate this this way so that the base is more on this side where the weight's here. And now we have Jetfire on the display stand. And I didn't really go over this on the part 1, but some of the issue. Okay, now let's first close up these supports. And yeah, as nice as this is, the teeth are not set up where you can kind of have this in certain poses. So basically you can have them like this. Let me fold that wing up like that. And let's come back a little bit, because what I'm trying to say is, if you rotate this, then you could see he's facing down. That's what I was trying to say. And if you rotate it the other way, now he's up. I don't know, this one maybe is okay because it does look kind of cool, he's going up. And then this one, I guess this is just extra articulation if you want to have it angled out. So you just have to, I'm pointing that out because you just have to figure out how you want to adjust this so that this looks in the way that you want it to look. So yeah, for me, I'm just having a little trouble figuring out, a nice pose to have this in. But main thing is, you know, this is how the display stand works, and it actually works pretty well holding up holding the plane with this adapter. So that part's surprising. They did a nice job there. So here is a look at Jetfire in his alt mode. And the last thing I can go over are all these missiles that you can attach in his alt mode, which yeah, I kind of don't want to go over because you know, it's just taking more of your precious time. But here, just to be very thorough, let's just go over some of these just so you can see how the missiles attach. So first, you have to pick and choose which missiles that you want to use. So I'm showing you the different versions that you get. So here, this one, I think it's a little case for 5 missiles here. This one's just 3 of them. Here is, I don't know, different kind of missile, and this one has 2 of them on this platform. So now you just pick and choose which one you want to attach. And just to let you know, this is the first time I'm actually going to attach these missiles. So now we need to come underneath, and first things first, let's take a closer look just to see the shape. And it looks pretty, it looks like it just simply tabs in. And so now let's just tab this in and see what this looks like. Let's see, we need to line this up. So I'm going to do it on the bottom here. If I can get that to line up here. Yeah, and it just does tab in. And yeah, so there's one. And then it's just your, you know, preference, you know, which missiles you want to use. So I actually kind of like these missiles. And these have 2. So I guess you could put 2 on one side and then 1 on the other. So again, this just simply tabs in. And I don't know if I'm capturing this on camera, but you saw there was a little lock on it. I don't know why. Well, here, let me just show you again so I can see the shape. There's those little pieces extending out. I don't know if that's what's getting in the way, but here, let's apply a little bit more force. And yeah, I don't know why this is not going in. Let's try the other side. I don't know if it's the tolerance or what, but yeah. Oh, I guess it's supposed to snap in because you heard that snap. And then let's do it again on this missile here. Yeah, see the tolerance. I don't like the tolerance thing because this one you have to apply a lot of force just to get this to tab in. And that's not good because you want to be careful when every time you're applying force, because more force I'm applying, I'm actually putting stress on this wing. And I'm just going to say it now. I don't know if they do that on purpose because they're wanting you to break it or something. And then last one, you could bring out this one. So I guess the good thing is you could see tabbing these in is not as easy as just, oh, here's the tab, there's a slot, tab it in. That one's easier. So it looked like this one was the easiest, this was the second easiest, and then these 2 were really hard. But these are the ones that actually look the nicest, in my opinion. But here, just to be very thorough, now you could see what it looks like with the missiles. And actually, that actually looks kind of cool with the missiles. But I'm not sure if I want to keep it in alt mode or robot mode. But there is a look at Jetfire in his alt mode with a few of the missiles. So I think I'm gonna end my review here just to see if I can save some time, and I'll just transform this back to robot mode on my own, because I don't think anyone wants to see the transformation to robot mode. And here, yeah, see, this is tolerance issues, but yeah, so let's untab this, and here, yeah, you're trying to be careful, like where you're grabbing it, and then you need to untab this. But here, I'll just end it, my review by sharing my final thoughts as I'm taking this off. So hopefully, you weren't too annoyed with the long review, me just pointing out every issue with this and just being very thorough, pointing out everything. But the reason why I do that is because, I just want to make sure that you're aware of everything I feel is important to know, especially the things, that have issues here, like tabbing things in or loose things, or how to tab it in, because it's not as easy as, okay, this goes down, so rotate this down. Well, what about this and that might cause issues? So that's the main reason why I take the time to point all that stuff out. But all of that aside, as far as this figure goes, I'll just tell you that I actually, despite what seems like I'm complaining a lot, I actually do like this figure, just simply because, well, two reasons. One is because this kind of replaces the original Jetfire toy that I foolishly sold to Julio from the Cybertron Cafe for $20, 100% complete with the box of styrofoam, nothing broken. And this one is actually a better version because it has all that extra articulation. So this kind of captures that missing link Jetfire. And I said many times, I think this is the closest to the missing link Jetfire that we're ever going to get. So from that point of view, I think this is a figure definitely worth getting. However, this is not a perfect figure, as you heard me point out many times with all the complaining here and there, here. And there are issues that you need to be aware of with this figure. And it's the tight tolerance on that shoulder joint. You need to be careful how to manipulate it. And hopefully, you see, the way I was manipulating it to try to get around, the potential breakage. But as far as these things go, this is really hard to control. You just have to figure out the best places where to grab the figure so things stay tabbed in, even like up here. See, that easily comes untabbed just from a little tab, and as I tabbed it back in, you could see this comes out. So those are things I just point out, because you need to be aware of it so you know how to work around it. But this is not like a major issue where like the quality of the plastic is prone to breakage and actually the figure will break. But, I'm just, making it clear, the things that I complain about. Because, again, overall, look at this is a really nice looking figure. I do like it, especially with the extra accessories, the display stand, and the missiles that I put in for the first time. It actually looks really nice. Now for me, I'm just trying to figure out, do I want to keep it in alt mode along with all the other G1 figures I have in alt mode, or do I want to keep it in robot mode? But that's it. That's my final thoughts and review for this figure. And in terms of a rating, I'm going to give this a rating of a 7.9 out of 10. Just because they should have done a better job fixing the tolerance. And that would have made this an even better figure. But anyways, that's it. That's my final thoughts and review for the FUGU FG-01, their Autobot Air Guardian Jetfire.
Tired of losing battle after battle in the sky, the Autobots create the ultimate robot jet. Jetfire.
Transformers, more than meets the eye.